जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उत्कल जलधि तरंगा। तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे। गाहे तब जय गाथा। जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Namaskar. India is a family and we all are part of this family. I am a common man from this family, would like to share some thoughts, and I am sure we all will work on this together and find best out of it for the well-being of this family. We will ensure that each person from this family will live a principled, prosperous and peaceful life. Once there is a fight between reality and dream, that who is dominating. To find out the answer, they approach a common man. He says, the one who can stand on ground and can also touch the sky is the winner. Both of them try hard. Reality could stand on ground but could not touch the sky, while dream could touch the sky but could not stand on ground. Finally they give up and come back to common man asking for the solution. He answers, dream should stand on shoulders of reality, then both of them will achieve what they want. Why it has become so difficult for a common man to live a principled, prosperous and peaceful life? We all face some common problems in our day-to-day life, and we know that they come up from elements like corruption, poverty, insecurity, lack of strong governance, absence of value-based education system, disparity in society, inflation, consumption-based economy model, money becoming power symbol, and stress in day-to-day life affecting the health of society and individual. As a common man, we look at these problems and think that there is not going to be any solution for all, and we continue to live in current reality. Many expect that someone will find solution for all these problems and things will change by night. The situation is so worst that you cannot live a 100% truthful life. To survive in these conditions, you need to become liar or corrupt at some point of time. Why the situation is like this? Is it only because of change in mentality, or there are any other reasons forcing us to change the mentality? At one end, India is dreaming to become superpower, but on the other hand, Bharat is struggling for survival. That is reality. 78% of people in India have daily income less than $2. And how come we can say that per capita income is rupees 26,000? Why there is so much of disparity in society? It is like one side of tree is flowered heavily and other side of same tree is dried and rotten. First 20 ranked rich people from India has income equal to 30 crore people in India. We are not against becoming rich, but we are carrying all others with us ahead or deliberately leaving few back. That is a question. Continuous pressure is resulting in exploitation of natural resources, which is the worst scenario. The land is heavily agricultured to get maximum production. Farmers cannot afford to give rest to land. Ideally, land is a means of survival and sustenance rather than a tool for production. India is full of all natural resources, but if we continue with current pace, sooner all will be lost. As symptoms, we have already started importing some of the food grains. Due to unavailability of water resource, we have already pumped out the groundwater extensively, making many wells empty. Since the conditions are becoming worse at villages, the younger generation has aspirations to reach cities. There is a tremendous migration towards cities, making the villages drained or empty with young mass, and no one remains to take care the local resources. Forest is a resource bank which is also exploited. People staying in forest for years who are also caretakers of forest are being moved out. Due to lack of strength and power in governance, they are not able to provide proper compensation and alternative livelihood. There are various methods by which we can restore the resources and condition the forest to some extent, but policies and governance is not strong enough to sustain against the economic forces. Why economic forces and this consumption based model have become so strong and has become one of the major challenge for principal prosperous and peaceful living? Why government has become so weak and not able to govern the policies? It's time not to just criticize policymakers and politicians, but understand their problems too and the current social and economic reality of India. The economic disparity in society is so huge that at one end people are becoming billionaires and at other end people have started doing suicide, theft, breaking laws, become part of black economy. If you look towards disparity, it shows that we have tremendous ability to produce wealth, but the distribution mechanism is not correct. There is weak governance on distribution of wealth. We don't want to stop people becoming rich, but we should be able to remove poverty. In a family, when a mentally retarded child takes birth, do we kill him? We take his responsibility and satisfy the basic needs for survival. We may not give him amenities, but definitely fight for his survival. Similarly, we all should make sure that every person in India should be able to survive and provide him social security. But today there is so much debt on government that they are not so strong enough to provide these securities. They lack in strong governance due to weak economic forces. But we all should find a solution and make our government strong. In a family, when father has less income than his son starts neglecting his father's responsibility. He says, I too have children's wife, why should I look at you? While actually father has the responsibility of all family members. Even one of his child is doing good, he has to look after all his children's. In India, government is becoming weak and some people are becoming strong. We need to think about all our family members. Everybody is trying to take pain and efforts, but there is a high level of insecurity feeling in each one of us mind. So if the system, linkage and relations are perfect, then the same amount of work will make you live comfortable. Faith and insecurity are two inversely proportional with each other. The more you start keeping faith, insecurity will reduce in your life. More insecurity in your life, less is the faith in people. This can extend to such a level to happen in your own family itself and spoiling the relations. If you see, even if we have money today, the insecurity is at such high level that for every transaction of money, you are feared that somebody is trying to cheat me. So having money will also not solve the feeling of insecurity problem. After all, what is money? Why it is used? How it is generated? Is it just a piece of printed paper? Why don't the government set up a printing press and start printing this money? All the problems will be solved. This can be a first level question from a common man. But the fact is, even the educated people in the society often know how the money is generated and how much money is generated. They are quite confused or feared and say that they don't understand the economics. Why such a complex system has been created so that common man cannot understand it? Is it that government want to do something which a common man should not understand? This whole complex economic system seems to be evolved rather than designed. The condition is such that for simple things today, common man has to consult financial experts. Actually, if we see, economics is the science of resource and finance is the derivative of economics. Right from our childhood, we are dealing with economics. Then why we do not understand it now? When we ask a small 4-5-year-old child to get a biscuit from a shop, he knows he has to give money to buy it. The simple fact is, many of us don't know how the money is generated. If you start asking some CA and economist, they will say it is not so easy to just print the money. You won't understand that. Even we don't know. Some say that government has some gold with them. They place that gold in Reserve Bank and then Reserve Bank print that amount of money. But the fact is, this used to happen till 1957. And after 1957, money is not generated in this fashion. That is for sure. Then how it is generated? This is the most simplest unanswerable question in our country. That how is money generated? This is the reason why India is shining and Bharat is struggling for survival. India actually is full of all resources. Still, how there can be a problem of survival and food for people? In our Indian economic history, we used to work in barter system, where there was a local exchange of properties as per the need, where having equal level of satisfaction. There was no money in picture. That was not at all needed, and because of one-to-one negotiations, proper value-based exchange used to take place. Further, money came into existence as evolution and not as design. It started as medium of exchange and as a common unit like meter, kg. Like we say that a piece of cloth is 10 meter or he or she weighs 80 kg. Similarly, we started saying that this property is of rupees 100. Similarly, we started defining the value. Today, when we stand in front of a hotel which is full of food and we create a demand for food, are we going to get the food? No. We know that you need to have money in your pocket. For creating any demand, you need a support of power. In olden days, this power was either muscle power, military power, or organized ruling power. The only requirement is not enough to create a demand. Now the current situation in India is such that there is a huge requirement from people and market is also available, but people lack in power to create a demand. They lack in having money, which has become a medium of exchange, and power for creating the demand. Now we all know that money is not a natural resource like plants, oxygen. This is an element which has been created by humans itself, by us. Then what is the exact way in which it is created and how much? Money can be created in two forms. One is created by printing, I promise to pay a sum of rupees XXX on a piece of paper, and you see a signature of the governor on that piece of paper. The cost of that paper is not equal to the amount of money you create. To create a 500 rupee note, the total expenditure is around 39 rupees. But the power behind making a currency from a paper adds the value. Tomorrow, if government starts printing the 1 lakh rupee note, we have to accept that. Else, there will be a legal case on you if you don't accept that. This is the way government can print the money as per their requirement, which is called deficit budget. This money which is created by government, behind which the support of power is there, that is called high powered money. The second form of money is created behind which stands the credibility. In similar method, we ourselves write, pay to this, and we sign below on that paper. This is what we call check. Ideally, there is no difference between a 500 rupee note and 500 rupee check. Both are medium of exchange. But the second form of money we create is based on individual's credibility. For that we need a bank account, transactions in bank, recognitions in bank. Then only we can print our own paper money in form of check. This second form of money is called credible money, behind which there is a traceability. It is unfortunate to say that in India, 80% of transactions today are in cash and 20% through bank. We use more money created by government, even though we have the ability to create our own money. But we don't do that. In all the developed countries, more than 90% of the transactions are through bank, check or electronic transactions. So in our country, only purchasing power is given to people and there is no credibility standing behind. Government is printing the money. How is the distribution? No one knows clearly. Through medium of money. Then what is the problem behind using this high powered money rather than check? How is the money cycle working? Let us see that in a simple analogy. I was supposed to visit Mumbai for a week. So I came to Pune ST stand and parked my motorcycle in the parking stand. I gave the fees and got the pass and went to Mumbai. One of my friend was passing by and saw my motorcycle in the parking stand. He went to that security and he said to security that anyways my friend is not going to come from Mumbai for a week. You just give me this vehicle on rent for 3 days. The security person hesitated to give that bike, asking for the security of that vehicle. My friend took out his gold ring and gave it to security, saying, "Keep this with you. If I damage the vehicle, you can take that from this." Security said, "But still you have to pay the fees for this." My friend said yes, and he took my bike and went to Pune railway station. Parked that vehicle at the parking stand of Pune railway station, took official pass and went away. There, my another friend came and saw my bike and asked the security person at Pune railway station that to give him his bike for 1 day. Similar conversation happened and he kept a gold chain and went off. Once his all work was over, he went for a movie, parked the vehicle in that parking lot. There came the another friend of mine and asked that parking guy to give him that bike for 2 hours. Anyways, my second friend was not going to come for 3 hours since he was watching the movie. Same conversation happened and he took the bike. In all this scenario, what would have happened if I would not have parked my bike at parking stand? Nobody else could have used that and bike would be idle at my home. Here in this scenario, the parking stands are our banks and the bike is the money. Today we are discussing on some topic and will continue for some time. Each one of us will be having some currency in wallet. Is it going to get used for say 2 hours? No, it is going to remain idle. At the same time, other end, someone might have some requirement for medical loans, education loan, but could not get since there are no bikes parked at their parking stand. And the condition become sometimes so worst that the same money is available at a very high interest rate as decided by parking security person. All the bhajiwalas take 90 rupees from the money lenders at the start of day. With that they purchase all the material and at the end of day they get 200 rupees and they have to pay back 100 rupees to that money lender. That is almost 10% daily interest. Isn't it too much? We all have so much of capacity to create the credibility, but since we lack in building that credibility, we failed and India is now in big economic trouble. And we all just blame the change in mentality of people. Since people do not have purchasing power, there is a break in market. Now, the most highly powered agency in the India, that is government, which gets income from the tax system, lacks in collecting the tax because of less purchasing power in market. When we park the bike in parking stand, we keep something like chain or ring of equal value and earn the credit as backup, so there is no inflation. So when a bank allocate a checkbook to us, they allocate you credit and not the currency. So in our country, every rich would not necessarily be a credible person. He may be a corrupt thief. He may be a person damaging the society. We see some people getting rich within few days, and we also know there stands no credit behind. These people are using the bike which are not parked at parking stands. Now let us see how does government work in all these conditions and what is the role of government. This is the current economic reality of India. Our agro-based economy, which was lateral, has now become a vertical economy. Industrial services, supportive services, manufacturing. This is the vertical main building of our country, showing our national economic reality. There is a water tank at ground level in our building, wherein we have lot of water and is almost full. Then also sufficient water is not available to all taps at all levels. Why? Then we look at the pump which is working fine. But then why the water in the overhead tank is less? Then we look at the pipes carrying the water from bottom tank to upper tank are leaking, and almost major water is leaked out instead being poured in overhead tank. The overhead tank resembles the government revenue with which the government is running, and the pipes carrying water to overhead tanks are the taxes. Now this pipe system has become so complex that it seems to be evolved rather than designed, and hence the leaking water out is black money. Unfortunately, Indian government is trying to fill the lower tank by adding the water from outside through water tankers. This is what we call as FDI, Foreign Direct Investments, SEZ, Special Economic Zones. We assume that when we refill the lower tank, we will have enough water in upper tank. Now here we have given the separate connection to the ground floor as privatization. So those who are remote from ground, they cannot reach lower tank, and there is not enough water in the upper tank. The people who are at ground floor of this building is India, and the above floor is Bharat. The black money is so huge that with this parallel economy, many illegal systems have taken birth. Farmers have to pay huge interest on this black economy. Imagine the interest rate is around 3650 per year. This percent per year. This resembles that we all have to come forward and change the system rather than blaming any person or policy makers. This is why the government is poor, and so the governance. Governance is the system and the politicians are the components. So let us not look at the image of that component, but the functions of that component. Let us view that in correct perspective as like energy. All the systems in the governance work on white money, and all the politicians work on black money, because there is no support of white money to them. Till they win the elections, they cannot get white money, because there is not enough budgetary provision for all leaders. This is how in our country governance is weak and politicians and policy makers are strong. If we map all the aspects of the current socio-eco reality and the challenges for living principled, prosperous and peaceful life, then it results into this picture. This is a cause-effect-cause relationship diagram of the current situation. This explains how lack in fiscal deficit cause an effect on certain sectors like fiscal policy, external borrowings on the credit policy, anti-social industries, disinvestments policies and reduced social spendings, taxation system and high denomination currency, credit cycle and farmer suicide, credit cycle and government revenue, internal borrowings, local industry. And all these effects are then resulting back into further reduction of fiscal deficit. If we all study the cause-effect-cause and find out where is the technical flaw in the system, it is undoubtedly clear that it is because of flawed taxation system, large denomination notes and less use of banking system, resulting into poor capital formation. We are proposing a solution for all these problems we discussed. Let us discuss the proposal. These 6 sentences are going to change India. The proposal is open to all technical challenges. It has been reviewed with many CAs and economists and could not find a technical flaw. The proposal is a pure technical solution and not philosophy behind it or any subjective logic behind the solution. It says withdrawal of existing taxation system completely except custom and import duties. No octroi, no service tax, no road tax, no stamp duties, no tax at all. Every transaction routed through a bank will attract certain deduction in appropriate percentage as transaction tax. That is single point tax deducted at source, say 2%. This deduction is to be effected on receiving or credit accounts only. This deducted amount will be credited to different government levels like central, state and local. Say 0.7% from 2% will be for central, 0.6% for state and local will be 0.35%. Transacting bank will also have its share in this amount as the bank has a key role to perform, say 0.35%. Cash transactions will not attract any transaction tax. There will be no tax on cash transaction. Withdrawal of high denomination currency. Government should make legal provision to restrict cash transaction up to a certain limit, say 2000 rupees. Existing cash is deposited in bank and attract TT. None will ask you if you deposit the black money now in bank. When this proposal is implemented and tomorrow if we visit a shop for purchasing a mobile which may cost rupees 3000, then you would not prefer to pay by cash since more than 2000 rupees cash transaction is legally not allowed. You won't get the service or warranty for that product. Since there is not going to be any tax on the product as such, we all would prefer to remain in legal system and pay by check. System should be designed in such a way that following a system would be more beneficial than not following it. Let us see the effects of this proposal and how India, hence we, will be empowered. High value cash transaction not possible because of denomination of currency. So banking transaction will increase. Since transaction tax exists, the tax revenue is increased by order of magnitude. There will be huge money with government. The upper water tank will be full and every water tap will get water. Let us take an example of Mumbai Corporation to understand the effects of this proposal. The total tax collection revenue for 2006-07 is 6,700 crore rupees. The total check transaction in Mumbai during 2006 is 33,43,000 crore rupees. So as per our proposal, the corporation share will be 0.35% of the total transactions. That is 11,700 crores. And the current is 6,700 crores. See the difference. State government will get double tax, 0.6% as per our proposal. That is 23,000 crores. And central government will collect 0.7%. That is 23,000 more. So the revenue available from state government can be used for Mumbai. So no need to get the amount sanctioned from the central government. To build roads in specific cities, no need to go to Delhi. The local income can be used locally and the remaining amount should go to the central government. This will lead to the progression of local development and reduce the rate of migration towards cities. Fiscal deficit recovered. No need for government to take loans. This will result in empowered government. Tax collection is simplified. Opportunities for corruption eliminated. Black money eliminated. Anti-social and anti-national elements effectively checked. Fake currency is eliminated. To print a 50 rupees note, the cost is 39 rupees, so no profit in making that currency. Currently in our country, the total amount of cash we have in form of currency is 5 lakh crore rupees, and in that 44% currency is of rupees 500, 20% of 1000 rupees and almost 28% of 100 rupees. So in all, more than 92% currency is in rupees 100 and rupees 500 and rupees 1000 notes, and 90% of people in India has income less than 100 rupees per day. Isn't it interesting? Net banking revenue increases. Low interest rates. Education loan will be available at 2 to 3%. Cheap and ease capital. Purchasing power increase in society. Market demand boosts. Trade industry supply stimulated. Employment opportunity increased. Social security is restored. Commodities and services are free from tax influences. Prices will drop down. Focus is shifted to innovation from rather than tax manipulation. Sufficient subsidies will be available. This will result in global competitive agro sector. Black money is converted into white. SLR is revised and money flow controlled. Budgetary provision for politicians for elections. Because of white money and no black money in market, there will exist clean political system. This will result into empowered government, and this will lead all of us towards social security. Today, many of us are working in social groups to achieve principled, peaceful and prosperous life. Some of them work at individual levels, some at community level and some at national level. If we start integrating the vision at each level and jot down, these can be some solutions for principled, prosperous and peaceful living with nature. Dissemination of population, decentralized government system, business with social objectives, communities living based on conservation values, value-based integrated education system, economy based on restoration of natural resources, conservation-oriented policies, appropriate technology, appropriate distribution of wealth and resources, resource management and conservation practices and projects. Today, to make these things happen, there are definite challenges, and the crux lie down in the economic forces. But we are sure that Arthakranti will bring everyone a social security and at a place from where all of us can think in this direction and make it happen. This is a major step towards bringing principled, prosperous and peaceful living with nature. Thank you.